And I am live. Hey, Pitbull, welcome. Have not done this in a while. A lot going on, so I'm trying to get to my viewers somehow. Can you guys hear me fine or not? Because I'm talking from a MacBook. Hello, Ricardo. Hey, Halcyon. Oh, okay. Well, that's good. You know what? Maybe it's better doing it from the laptop. That way it does it itself, even though I don't really like the camera quality. Hey there, Latif. Man, everything is so small on this computer. Hold on, I gotta get a cracker. I wish I could give you guys a cracker. I haven't really eaten anything, so don't mind if I chew on a cracker while we chat. Hello, Jen. Welcome. I don't even know. Am I allowed to freaking eat crackers and chat? That's hilarious. Oops. So, how is everybody? Jen, that sounds great. Grapes are great. Man, I actually haven't had any grapes in a while. Well, I'm doing okay, Ricardo. I'm just waiting for my apartment to be renovated. Other than that, I'm hopping around. So I'm trying to put out content as much as I can. And this is the first time I'm doing it through YouTube Studio instead of doing it from OBS that I usually do it. So this is the first with that. But thank you, everybody who came. Jen, no, I'm not in Manhattan. I'm in Brooklyn. Manhattan's a little bit too rich for my blood. I mean, Manhattan's pretty freaking expensive. It's expensive in New York in general. It's very expensive. I don't even know how the heck people live here. But yeah. And Manhattan's actually going I don't know, lately when I've been to the city, it's been dirty, very dirty. And I've been noticing a lot of homeless people around Manhattan a lot. So I don't really know what's going on. No, that's no Brooklyn's cool. I have the ocean nearby. It's nice. I mean, in the summer it's nice, but in the winter it's you can't go swimming in the winter. But yeah. I know I'm very, I haven't streamed in a while and what's it called? I always do these streamings at like the last minute, so forgive me with that. Jen, I actually miss LA. I grew up in LA. So at one point I was even thinking, should I ever go back there? But situations, this what's going on. But yeah, I know LA really well. I miss the weather, I'll tell you that. And I miss Santa Monica. Halcyon. I'm good. Just got home after sending a friend of mine saying that we in the book. Yeah, I read your what's it called? I saw that you wrote this book, Lilith the God Goddess. I will curious to take a look at it. I'm very into I don't want to say into Lilith, but Oh, thank you, Sir Ricard. I really appreciate. Thank you for um, the donation. That thank you for supporting the channel. Means a lot. Thank you so much. What did I want to say? Oh yeah, I did not. With Lilith, it's very interesting because she's been with me this life and honestly, previous lives. So I'm very curious in reading your outlook on Lilith. Mm, No, I have not done a full evocation of the Goetia by Peterson. Hold on, let's see here. I have not done a full evocation by him. I did it and worked with Boone. Boone. I don't think I've ever worked with Boone. Now wait, let me see. Do I remember how Boone looked like? Hold on a second, because there's freaking my memory is always shot with this stuff. In a way of, I work with so many goetic entities. Some of them, like Agaris and Versago, actually kind of look alike to me. Anyway, they did. I don't think I've ever worked with Boone. It's funny, actually. When I'm thinking Boone, I'm actually thinking of that Clive Barker movie. Oh my God, what's that Clive Barker movie? I mean, it wasn't Boone; it was something else, but it was similar. Oh my God, I actually forgot. No, it's not Hellraiser, Ricardo. Nightbreed, Nightbreed. Oh my God, that's one of my favorite movies. Um, Latif, I will come back to the studio when the apartment is ready. It's going through renovations because of everything going. I'm waiting for the windows to come in, and right now I'm just hopping around. I'm in someone's basement. So, and I was in another apartment, and anyway, I'm just jumping around like crazy, and I want the studio back. So I'm for the past about since April, this has been happening. So lately, at least I had somewhere to kind of do the videos and bring you guys content and do what I can. But it's kind of tough. But I'm as long as I bring you guys content, that's all that matters. And plus, I'm trying to get back into writing music because I really want to. I have a lot to write about now. That's for sure. Oh my God, Josh! I never thought of anybody calling me Jane Wilder. Oh God, Gene Wilder! I love Gene Wilder. I love them in Willy Wonka, and I think he's hilarious. My God, first time. Usually people say either Nicolas Cage or John Lennon. Somebody called me John Lennon once. Halcyon, can you please give me the link to your YouTube? Because I think I saw it and while I was writing comments. Yeah, that people say I look exactly like him, but no. I probably would be able to play his brother, that's for sure. Halcyon, you wrote about the collaboration about the Lilith thing. Let me get that right? Because I was going through the comments section and I'm trying to remember. Nick Cage, the one true God according to Reddit. Halcyon, I'm actually interested in because everybody's perception of Lilith and gods are different. And usually I don't read too much into what other magicians write in their books in a way, is because when I have my own experience and then I open up the book, I will see what matches, and that grounds everything for me, that it is more grounded, instead of trying to, let's say I read something that I'm going to do, and then that imprints itself in the mind. And then when you go, are you sure it's the true thing that you're seeing, or what you already imprinted as a thought form? So Halcyon, what's interesting about Lilith, though, is there was one person that posted that there's two versions of Lilith. And I've noticed that I don't really think it's versions of Lilith. I think it's time periods. And I've had this a lot with other entities I would contact. You would see a young Lilith with Asmodeus, and then you would see a more wiser Lilith with Samael. And I think it's time periods. Somebody wrote they think it's to do two different versions. I don't really think that's that. I mean, it's energies. It could be anything when it comes to magic, but I believe it's more of contacting that time period. William, will you give me some tips about vocations? Yeah, it's getting cold and it's time to do evocation. I get it. Well, first I would say, especially when you're not familiar with the spirit that you're contacting, I do think you should create an astral circle. Absolutely. When you're doing an evocation, do an astral circle. Never lock the spirit itself in the circle, but lock yourself in the circle. That way you keep anything that the spirit then doesn't feel threatened. Usually I do feel that when contacting a Vedic spirit, especially a new one, they could feel threatened, and then that's when they start being very I don't want to say angry, but very irritated. Excuse me. I've had that before. When contacting a new spirit, I try to contact the familiar first. I do not want to just contact the spirit just for the hell of it. I feel it works best because, and I do repeat this in the videos, that if somebody knocks at your door and you don't know that person, you're going to feel defensive. If your friend brought them over, or her, said, hey, this is so and so, then all defenses are down and everything is, easier. I mean, that's how I think of it. I hope that helps, William. Um, Also, I'd like to ask all of you now, because of the situation I'm in, I don't have my studio, so I got myself a whatever I could, a gimbal, and doing a vlogging type, videos. I want to ask you, do you guys feel that breaks the monotony of everybody sitting in a freaking room? Like, I see a lot of magicians sitting in a room and speaking. I understand that. But like I said, I like magic that's very grounded to this reality. Sometimes, and that's why I came out with the video before. I'll read your guys' comments in a section. I just want to get this thought through. There's a lot of magicians who don't ground themselves, and I do believe that it has to be a balance between the material and the spiritual. I don't think it has to go one way or the other, and it's dangerous when it goes too much one way and too much the other way. So the last video I put up with the depression and all this stuff, I felt was very important to me to release, because I feel a lot of magicians just don't freaking talk about it. Either they don't acknowledge it, or they acknowledge it and are worried to talk about it. And I feel, for a proper magician to be balanced, I think these subjects should be just to be aware of, to progress further into their path, to have a proper balance of the mind. For me, Lilith is a primordial. I see what you mean, Healthier. I see exactly what you mean. See, that's the thing, Healthier, with the Yahweh. The story says that Yahweh didn't respect her, Adam did not respect her. But this is where I see the stories and I try to, like, I know that the gods didn't just write these stories. I mean, it was practically it what man wrote these stories, and was it interpreted correctly? Because when I dealt with Yahweh and I dealt with Lilith, and there was absolutely no controversy or anything going around on in my experiences in Magic with them. But you have all these stories, you know what I mean? So it's very interesting. I always question that because Magic is never set in stone. You know, they could find out 10 years from now that this spirit, I mean, this god or goddess or demon was called this god or goddess, and that was actually not the, you know, it always changes with archaeology and everything. Thank you, Ricardo. I'm glad you like the vlogging videos. Somebody, one person, one client, not client, what am I saying? One viewer said that they preferred the indoor videos because the vlogging breaks the mood of the magic. I kind of thought also that because the situation I'm in, but I also thought that the vlogging makes it a little bit more grounded instead of being in a cave. You know, a lot of videos I see people are just sitting in a room in a cave, you know, and it's great, but I thought it would be more um, realistic. Like, look, I do magic and I'm, you know, normal. If that makes any sense. My friend have a familiar and he was telling her about the seven kings. Do you know? Latif, I'm the first magician that will say right here and right now that if I don't know something or I did not read something, I will let you know. Because if I have experience with it, and Crawley always said, I'm not a, I respect Crawley, don't get me wrong. It's not like I don't consider myself a Thelemite or anything, but, and I don't like to put myself as a label. That's why I call myself an occultist, because the occult can mean anything. Um, is that let results speak for themselves. So if I know what have experience and I know that it works, I know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of there are some that talk about stuff and it doesn't seem like they had enough experience with it. So if I say I don't have enough experience with it, I don't. So I really can't say. Hellseer. Now I'm interested. The possible of emerging from the void and Yahweh was present also. That's interesting what you just said. And you know, there was another idea that came to me. Look, if Lilith is part of Yahweh, I mean, supposedly he created Lilith. So does that mean that he told himself off? Do you know what I mean? You created this, so it's a piece of you. He told himself off. There's also another theory in Judaism that when Yahweh supposedly created the earth, there were two versions of Yahweh. No, not two versions of Yahweh. There was one part that wanted to create the earth, but then there was another one that didn't want to create the earth. And I might be wrong about that, but I've read that somewhere, but I don't know exactly where the history lies in that. You know, I don't just read something and say, well, that's how it was, because where did they get the source from? That's very important. Where did the sources come from? I do know that in the Bible or the Torah, I usually go by the Torah because I'm half Jewish. Um, that in the first section of the Torah, Baal, Hadad, is actually the god. And that's why you always constantly hear about, you pray to any other god and you're going to get whacked, technically. And then in Kings, there was a tribe fight, and Yahweh technically won. That's when Yahweh came into existence. So that's my knowledge of it. Ricardo, hold on, Vega. I see you. Yeah, I've worked with Nama. Do the spirits actually speak of Yahweh is fractal? Done. Um, when working with angels, I've always noticed that every time I tried to contact Yahweh, I would see the Shekinah. I never really saw Yahweh. I always saw the Shekinah or his angels spoke for Yahweh. There was a time that I thought I saw a version of Yahweh in one of my astral projections. But I think a lot of things overlap by what we think the spirit might look like, and then that energy appears to us in a way that we can fully understand. One, oh my goodness, what is that? My brain just went dead. Anyway, one person, one comment, sorry, was asking about how could different spirits understand all these languages. I mean, I have the theory, and these are theories, fellow magicians. These are all theories, because magic is an individual thing. It's there. It's real. It's a science, but technically, we can't be really proven. I mean, it always changes, like energy changes. So, if I'm speaking to a spirit and it's from another, like I would be talking to Maat or Thoth, for God's sakes. And I mean, they would speak ancient Egyptian, you would think, but I would hear them in English. I think the energy just tries to communicate you in a way that your brain can actually understand. So it's not really language per se. Vega, yes, I've had encounters with Nama. I was working with her when I was working with the tree, Lilith, and I think she's wonderful. I didn't work with her too much. I work with Lilith so much that I never really, I don't want to say this sounds weird, but I didn't really acknowledge her children because I didn't think, well, let me go see this one and then let me go see that one. So um, I was I worked with Nama because I was working with something that had to do with some Dragon Rouge magic, and that's the reason why I worked with Nama. But that's about it. I mean, it had to do with Thomas Carlson's Goetia book. There's a invocation of Nama in there. The female aspect is also believed that Lilith was Yahweh's wife. That's interesting. I also heard that Lilith was Yahweh's wife. I could see that, Halcyon. That's interesting. Thank you for sharing. I always love to hear stories of Lilith. I mean, it always comes back to Lilith with me. And also, Helsier, I've been wondering about Lamastu because Lamastu always felt like an older version of Lilith, like she's older than Lilith, like more ancient. Um, I don't feel that she's similar to Lilith energetically, but if she felt more gothic, if that makes any sense to me. And she works with the dead real well too. True that I love having. Well, Cubase Junkie, thank you so much for subbing to the channel. I saw your comment. Yeah, I love Cubase, I'll tell you that. That reminds me, I need to write more music when I get out of this thing. I miss, and I need to shoot some more videos too. I want to make a new song and a new music video. That explains why Lucifer showed to me as Dr. Manhattan. Vega, the thing is interesting is that the energy will show up to you any way it wants to, the way you'll understand it. If you've never seen how a certain spirit looks like, it will show up to you. Like, it's funny. Like, I worked with Hades, and he shows to me like this old man and, wearing red. And he looks very menacing to me. But to one of my best friend, occultist, wonderful witch occultist, she sees him as what's it called? A gentleman, you know? So it depends how they appear to you. And you can't say that one is wrong or one is right. No, I have not worked with Papa Legba. I know a musician friend who constantly works with him. And I mean, he does more voodoo, um, stuff like that. And I've never really worked with voodoo. Halcyon, this is the interesting part with the aggression. And it makes me wonder. Now, think about this. Now, I've never had any aggressive spirits. With all the spirits I worked with, I've never really had anybody. Baal played a game with me once in a while. Baal, sorry. And he just, every time I asked him a question, he would just loop the question. I mean, loop the answer, confuse the crap out of me. And I knew he was playing games with me. Think about it this way, Halcyon, and see if this works for you. Now, I contact Lamastu through Pazuzu. I didn't contact Lamastu by herself. Since she was his consort, and I had relations with Pazuzu, I asked that Lamastu started coming around. So try to do that and see if that will help. Ricardo, how do I feel about astrological? Everybody, welcome. I see 10 people online. Thank you, everybody, much that you joined the chat. Sorry, I'm just reading Um, do I think the astrological circumstances affect rituals evocations? Yes, I do to a point. I do think a lot of we as human beings, we all look into it too much. I think we overlook into it. I think we overcomplicate everything. I mean, the last video I did with Goetic Simplify It, I think it's wonderful doing the ceremonial work, everyone, but I think we could simplify it. I mean, all that ceremonial work came up around what, the 1600s. I mean, before that, I'm pretty sure magicians didn't have to, or shamans, were considered more shamanic, didn't have to do all this elaborate stuff. They just contacted the spirit. What is the difference between Greek gods and diamonds? Boogie Watahuri. Do I? My thoughts about that is it's just how you look at it. Diamonds usually to me is a guiding spirit. I mean, that's what Wikipedia says. The Greek gods are, I think they're just all energies. I think we're speaking to all energies, and that's kind of how I see it. I believe these energy, I mean, we're all energy ourselves. I mean, I believe when we do die, and I'm not going to say pass on because I can't stand that. People always say, oh, they passed over. No, they died. um, I do feel that reincarnation does happen and we do move on. But I do think that some of our selves, some of our self, part of our ego, is lodged into the earth, how Vasago told me, and imprinted it and imprinted. So our part of our ego and part of our identity is actually imprinted in the earth when we're dead. And that's what Vasago told me. And I believe him. That would make sense when it comes to ghosts too. I have worked with King Pieman. Oh, thank you so much. Uh, Vega, thank you so much that you enjoyed the music. I really appreciate that. I mean, this started as a music channel, and then since my music is very occult related, I decided, of course, let me bring more, more to the channel, so it seems more together. Plus, it's easier to bring more occult content than write a song every 2 days. um, I feel King Pieman is very knowledgeable. I've only worked with him twice, excuse me, or maybe 3 times. And that's why I bring to the channel new spirits I've been lately contacting, like Clowneck, So I could, have the experience and then I could bring it to you. You could take the knowledge of that experience and then you could bring it to your table, take what you need, and then go and have your conversation and enlightenment with that spirit. Hope that answers the question. Hellseer, honestly, I have no idea because I'm not really into the astrological of part of magic. I never really looked. I know I'm Cancer. What I hate it sounds like that, but anyway, I know that my sign is Cancer. My moon is Cancer, and my sun is Cancer. I'm like all Cancer, man. So I'm all watery and floaty all the time. And for me, it's very important to ground myself because that's what I constantly have to work on. Black Moon Lilith is your shadow, your dark side. Oh, okay. I never really looked at that. I always look at it. I have to work on my shadow side. I never really try to name or align certain things. I just go and work on it. But thank you. Sorry, the screen is so small. Phileth Philosopher. I hope I said that right, and if I did, I'm sorry. How long should I work with the spirit before I make a pact? Well, let me think about that for a second. I don't think there's any time limit with that. When I talked to Clowneck, I talked to him maybe 3 times until started asking him some questions about energy and things like that. Um, I don't think you should do it the first day. Hey, how you doing? You know what? Let me ask you something. Can you do me a favor? I'm just bringing it down very it's good to have a little bit of humor when it comes to magic. I think sometimes everybody's too serious. Um, what's it called? I feel that there is no time when it comes to how many times, but I will say don't do it on the first date. Wait a couple of dates, maybe two or three, and then see how the relationship goes between you and the spirit, and then move on from there. I hope that answers the question. That's very cool. Thank you for sharing. I've had my natal chart done once. That was a long time ago. And it had nothing to do with the dark aspects. So honestly, I really do not know what I have. But now, since you're sharing your knowledge, I guess I'm going to have to look into that now because now I'm curious. And curiosity is what makes the magician better. Curiosity is important. Of course, if you have to just, slowly go into it, walk into it, not jump head first. That's not a good idea especially when dealing with Goetia. Summer's ending. I can't believe it's already September. JJ, yes, I do use a circle protection, and what I need right now is hold on, I need a ginger ale. Yes, I do use a circle of protection when I summon spirits all the time. Why? Because I'm trying to protect myself from myself. I'm trying to protect myself from my thought forms, my egregores that I created of how the spirit might look, what it will look like, or anything, because I don't want that interfere with the true vision of what I'm going to actually see. Hi, man, this is weird ginger ale. Excuse me. I feel that it's important to do protection because of the thought forms and the egregores. Is it to protect you from the spirit? Depends what spirit it is. But I try not to have the spirit feel threatened in any way or locked in any way. I used to do that though. I used to do serious Abramelin, not Abramelin, but on Goetia the old way with the circle and the triangle. I did all that. I never constrained the spirit. But maybe that's why Baal was actually pretty pissed off at me because when I contacted him that way, he was kind of angry. So that wasn't but you live, you learn. And I didn't even really know demonolatry. I didn't know that yet when I was doing I learned demonolatry later. Jin, that's cool. Okay. Vega, is it the first thing in astral projection? Well, it could be. I mean, you're lucid dreaming. I mean, you're technically projecting. Um, I just feel that it's better to go straight into it. Astral projection, because I created a method. Well, actually, it wasn't really me who created the method. I'm going to say it was um, Michael, the angel, because there was time when I started working with the Goetia, and in one of my astral voyages, I saw the angelic angel Michael, and he says, "Why don't you go there and do the work? Why do you have to bring them there here?" And I'm like, you know what? Why not? You know? So that's why Astral Goetia became a thing with me. Cubase, that's awesome. Necklaces or protections are important. I love ginger ale and I also love green tea. Felt the fur. Oh man, I sorry if I. You know what? Please don't mind if I call you Root Witch. I like that. Anyway, Root Witch use singing bowls. First, I'm a musician, so I love sound. I clean the space with singing bowls. I clean the space with incense. I clean the space. Okay, let's just start how this ritual would start. And I start this ritual technically the same way every time. I will do a middle pillar. Okay, middle pillar is very important. If you don't like the names of Yahweh in the middle pillar, change it to Greek names, change it to Egyptian names. It doesn't matter. The whole point of doing the middle pillar is balancing the top of your higher self, your Godhead, into the lower self so that you may feel a balance of connected to something other than yourself, even if it's the higher part of yourself, as some magicians say. That way, you don't have any interference from any egregores or thought forms or anything that could interfere in the magic. Okay? When that is all centered, then I would take a singing bowl, incense, and I would cleanse the four corners. Then I would start to do my magic. Also, when I cleanse the four corners, I will create an astral circle around me that wherever I go, it follows me because sometimes before I even call the spirit, they're there. That happens. Calling for me, contacting the spirits, fellow friends, is pretty easy. I mean, it really comes to me like this. Even before I even call them, they're already appearing. So I don't know if it's just because of me being a Cancer sign that I'm so intuitive around my imagination and the energies around me. But I always constantly have to ground myself because that part is when you're really ungrounded, it could be dangerous. It's good to ground yourself. So that gives you an idea of how I start the ritual. I have a Solomon circle blanket with a triangle, but it's not 9 feet. Boogie, you could call the spirit and evoke it in there if you want. It doesn't really matter. First of all, you can't look at it. You can't look at it materialistically because materialistically, it's just not going to happen. I don't care what magicians say. They saw it physically. The thing is that it has to manifest in something. It doesn't have a body. It doesn't have anything. So it wouldn't matter what size of the triangle. The triangle could be this small. But I don't really prefer. I mean, just it could be any size. Usually, what will happen is that the spirit will appear in the head, and the image might overtake your mind on how it looks, and you could feel its presence while you actually see it in the mind and in the triangle. I mean, when I seen the spirit, I saw it in the triangle, but I saw the image of the triangle in my mind with the spirit in the triangle while the triangle was empty. I hope that makes some sense. Spector, do you know where you can buy them? I bought these skulls in Manhattan. Honestly, I have no idea. I bought it at an Indian shop. I wanted to get another pair because I think my white ones broke. That's usually that's where I bought it. Just go to your Indian shop and ask for Kali stuff. That's kind of what it is. Jim, can you recommend a good starter book on working with archangels? Um, I like Donald Craig's book. Um, I really don't think. I mean, I understand it's easier to just get the information from a book, but even if you just sit and meditate and try to contact the angel that you archangel that you want to talk to, it will come. There is, to me, there is no difference between contacting demon, jinn. Well, actually, I never really worked with jinns, but I worked with Goetia, and some people call them jinns, so I wouldn't know. Are they technically a jinn, or that's the the way the Muslims call their demons that are jinns? So, also with such complex words as Solomon, wouldn't you think he tried just Boogie, I think what happened when it comes to that is I think they had their nose up their butts too much when they did those rituals. I think it was a lot simpler. I think maybe over time that happened. I don't think anybody, I am not a historian about that. So I really can't answer that. I'm not a historian. I did go to a Thelemic OTO meeting here that was open to the public about the history of the Goetia. But the lecture was so freaking boring, I fell asleep. So, it could get really boring. You got to listen, we're humans. So we need to have things a little bit more, I don't know, alive, if that makes any sense. For me, anyway. Ricardo, I might have told the story before, but maybe 2 years ago I was not in the circle of any kind of invoke. I just meditated on the spirit. The result was really instant. Well, Ricardo, I'm sorry you had night terrors for months. I can't imagine what a damn night terror feels like because I've never had them. I had a Freddy Krueger dream when I was a kid, and it locked and was in an elevator, and the elevator crushed me. That wasn't fun, and it was blood everywhere. That I didn't forget, but I love Nightmare on Elm Street. What I suggest is before you contact Ricardo or anything, do a middle pillar, put yourself in a circle, and then contact the spirit. Don't just contact the spirit only because you want to put yourself in the right mindset. If you just sit there and start contacting anything, the problem with that is a lot of thoughts that we think about going to the astral world, they go into the clip off. And those thought forms actually get created. So we want to make sure that we don't have any of those thought forms attached to us before we actually contact any type of spirit. Any good advice on warding, protections, and cleansing and magic? Usually, root witch, I use incense and I use sound. That's most of the time. I do use Hecus Hecus Bibeloi. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, which Crawley used in the corners to get rid of negative spirits or entities or energies. Jin, that would be really cool. I don't know anyone that really works with Middle Eastern pantheon and spirits. I mean, but wait. When I think Middle Eastern, I think of probably spirits that I'm actually not aware of, new spirits that I've never worked with. Full on Reggie. Interesting, Ricardo. Oh, Jin, of course. I mean, life, but that was what, 12 when that happened. Matthias, yes. I think everybody at some point goes through the clip off and goes through the Sifra. I mean, we're living in Malkut. We deal with the shadow parts of ourselves. We go through that all the time. We're just probably what makes us better magicians is that we become aware of what we're seeing around us more and more. I think that's what mostly, I think it's just happening. Excuse me. This is ginger ale. JJ, knowledge of the self, enlightenment. Now, it makes me think also some magicians think that godlike, you become godlike. And I've been thinking about that. I mean, we're still humans. We're in a human body. And it's hard to become godlike. Or I don't want to say living God because I really don't think that's possible at all. um, I do think we become enlightened, we become closer to our natural selves, and we become better. We also become aware of everything that is happening around us and energies around us, and we have more control over what's going on. And we also accept things that are out of our control, which is very important too. You can't always have control. There's certain things we just can't control in life. And we have to learn how to bend. Just bend. Um, but I'm just speaking my thoughts here. Root witch. I like to use copal. I use white copal. I use black copal. That's really strong stuff. That'll knock anybody on their butt. Matthias, why are you fighting demons? You're thinking of the Goetia a lot and me fighting demons. What's the point in fighting? There's no fighting going on. There's only knowledge and wisdom. That's, I think, the way to go. I mean, honestly, fight will never get you anywhere. And not only Goetia, just you gotta fighting is a headache. It really depends what you're fighting for, but in general, there has to be other healthier ways to get over obstacles. Oh, dreams. Okay. Well, maybe it's acceptance, Mathis. Maybe there's certain things you need to accept. Because not all dreams mean something. I think sometimes we got so much crap in our lives and problems that they appear in the dream. And it doesn't really mean anything. It just means you'll have a lot of crap in your head. Sometimes dreams actually do mean things, and sometimes I believe they don't. I think a lot of people look into too much stuff and then they go nuts. But I look at everything pretty grounded. I turned to believe this would be constant waking up to move. Well, Ricardo, if before you go to bed, I would do this. I would cleanse the space with some sort of incense. I would create 4 pentagrams around the bed and then a circle around the bed and then go to sleep and see what happens. Boogie, you can do a hex. But I'm not the one that suggests that don't do it. Some people, honestly, I'm the type of magician that, if somebody might deserve it, they might deserve it. This is not, people say, the thought about karma, and a lot of witches say, well, it'll hit you back. And I always question everything like that. What happens if you're the magician that's supposed to do the karma? So But I do suggest, if doing a hex of some sort or thinking of what kind of hex you're going to do, read the tarot cards. See how it is. Because if I do something very serious, I want to make sure that I read the tarot cards so it doesn't bite me in the butt. So do some divination work to make sure that it doesn't bite you in the butt, unless you don't really care. Well, root witch, I prefer demonolatry over ceremonial magic also. It's much more simplistic and it's really shamanic. Demonolatry is shamanic. Math, this is what I want you could do if she lingers. Okay, and there's no reason to do some hex or X. Get a candle, astrally imagine her, then cut the umbilical cord between you and her, and just close the ritual. If she lingers, hopefully she'll disappear. That hopefully will help. I've done that before and it worked like this. Like all of a sudden, that's it. I mean, 1 or 2 days, but that's it. Then after about a week. So I suggest that this does help. That's some helpful advice, hopefully. Chris, what do I recommend candle magic? I have not had too much experience in candle magic, but I do use a lot of candles when I'm doing the rituals. Um, can I recommend any books on candle magic? Not right off the top of my head, but if something does come to me, and I will be sure to make a video on it on the channel about it. So look out for that. The Clipoth and the Sifra are very similar to one another in some ways and very different in other ways. The Sifra always seemed very, for me, in my journeys through the spheres, pretty. And in the clip off, everything seemed inverted. And I don't mean like, you take a cross and you invert it, but it seemed more dark in a way of, it wasn't black. It felt more mysterious actually than the Sifra. Sifra, a lot of things just seemed kind of happy-ish actually. To me, it did. But in the clip off felt very, very different. It felt, what is a movie that I could describe that seems like, okay, does anybody remember seeing a movie with Robin Williams called As Dreams May Come or something, where he dies and then he goes to hell supposedly to rescue his wife? Well, clip off is kind of similar to that in some ways. It's kind of like that in a way. I will look into Anna Riva books. Anna Riva. Anna Riva? Riva? Well, I hope that answered your question, Chris. Jin, I never saw American Gods. Oh, wait a minute. Does that have to do with the witches and the army? I think a friend of mine was telling me about. It's like, you didn't see American Gods? I'm like, no. So now I'm curious to watch it. Interesting. Great research for books. There's so many ebooks. There's so many books. Now, all of you guys, I want to ask you, what do you feel you would like to see in the channel? Now, I want to, and I spoke about this before, I want to expand the channel, to get it to a wider audience, but I'm trying to figure out how to do this. And I want to ask you guys, since you guys are my viewers, I did also want to add some, I don't want to say cue-based tutorials, but this has to do with the music side of my writing. And I don't know how many of you would be interested in that, since a lot of it is Magick. Ricardo, I really did. I try to do some streaming with gaming, and I would be playing EverQuest, talking to myself. So I decided that I deleted the gaming of the streaming, because I thought I would talk about games. I mean, I could stream on YouTube, I think, which would probably, horror games or something. And I thought about doing that, but my Twitch just didn't go. I just didn't look. As much as I put time in this, which I really love, enjoying doing YouTube videos, starting another um, platform is tough. I mean, I have a TikTok channel. If you guys want to go follow me there, because I try to do some short magic stuff there. Instagram, I'm not really. I still can't get into Instagram, and somebody tells me, Twitter's good too. So I'm not. I'm telling you how it is. Ricardo, if you want to start it, start it. Look, I started this, and look where it grew. I mean, it's already at 3,000 something subs. It makes me very happy, and I'm very humbled about everybody taking the time and subscribing and supporting the channel. And I see some, of course, that have 10,000. I'm trying to figure out, wow, how long did it take them to get to that? So I'm trying to learn YouTube as it is, with the algorithm and how that works, and trying to really understand how this works, because I am learning as I go. So if you want to start it, my suggestion is that you start it and grow it, and don't worry about it, and it'll grow the way it'll grow. Interesting. So Twitch doesn't have an algorithm for people to find you. But that's the thing with Twitch. If I would do Twitch again, I don't think I would be doing gaming on Twitch. I probably might have discussions like this. But what's the point of having discussions there when I could have discussions with you guys here? So unless, there's something I'm missing out on. Questions on how many should I cleanse my space? Root Witch, I don't think you should worry about when you want to cleanse your space, you cleanse your space. I do a ritual, I cleanse my space. I used to do it every day, but it got really, really tiring. I mean, once a week is good, you know, just to keep up um, maintenance. They do pure description on Twitch, like Comic Book Girl 19, and then she uploads them on YouTube. Well, I know that some big YouTuber, Sniper something. I mean, but all she does is just react to react to videos of, I don't know, TikTokers. Oh, this is the question I had, and I wanted to ask you people. Would you think it would be? Would it be interesting if I would give my thoughts and react to other magicians, like on TikTok or Occult Talk or whatever, in a way of not like seeing what they would do and then saying, well, I would do it like this or like that. Now, would you guys be interested in seeing something like that? Because I'm trying, that's an idea that came to my mind, and I'm going to ask you guys. I also had a crazy idea of reacting to freaking preachers. They're talking about a demon, then I explain what that demon is, because sometimes they just, you know, the preachers in the churches. Trying to lively it up. Of course, not to put anyone down. Don't get me wrong. Magic is a Ricardo. That's a good idea too. It came to my idea, but I also don't want to get. I don't want other magicians to get the idea of that I am judging their work. Do you know what I mean? I don't want that has nothing to do with that. Because that's what came to my mind. What happens if he's judging our work? Because magic is a very, very personal thing. I might not agree with certain magicians' methods on not methods of how they do things, but methods on their ideas of certain things. But magic is so personal that it doesn't really matter because everybody's on their own path. Well, yeah, that's exactly what I mean. That's not the point of judging. I understand how reaction videos are popular. I don't know. It was an idea. That's why I ran it through you guys. I mean, I could try one video and see how it goes. I also don't want to start a magical war. I think there was a magical war between Crawley and what's his name from the Golden Dawn? Mathers. There was a magical war between them two. Yeah, I got a root witch. I got to look into it. I got to see how it could be done properly. So the vlogging doesn't bother you guys, right? With the walking and talking. I mean, I just feel that'll be boring as hell doing it in here. Which I really don't think there's specifically a best way to do anything when it comes to magic. I think natural magic I think when I used to think this, I used to think the ceremonial magic was the be all, and all of the magic was pointless because it wasn't so elaborate. It wasn't so dramatic. It wasn't, I love drama when it comes to the arts. Um, I think it depends on the intention. I think it depends on the magician. It's the magician, not the tools that you're using or the methods, that's going to make a proper outcome of everything. You could study Stein, Hexenhammer. He does politics and maybe he's the best to avoid. Astralis, I think what you should do is pull yourself up with a rope. That tends to help. Another thing that tends to help is try to roll over. Like, let's say you're meditating and you want to get out of your body. So you're like trying to shake it and then you roll over and see if that works. I will check out Stein and Hexenhammer. Do I believe in reincarnation? JJ, absolutely, I believe in reincarnation. There's no doubt in my mind. There's a couple of people that I knew who I was. Oh my God, I said that so wrong. There's a couple of people that in a past life, I knew some people that I was as, I don't know. Do I believe in star seeds? Let me think about that for a second. Is star seeds a new age type of thing? Hey, I'll admit if I don't really know what it is or have not read about it. I'll say it. What is a star seed? Oh, I got what you mean. The new age idea, indigo children, and yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, I would be considered indigo. No, 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 no. I know what they are. I would be considered indigo. I think I forgot what else there are. I guess we're all indigos, right, people? Well, look, there's an idea that we're all aliens too. So, I mean, we're kind of messed up aliens if we live like this. Well, Cubase, I'm glad you knew that I was indigo. I mean, it's a pretty color, though. Yeah. Well, I never thought of it that way. Yeah, Cubase. I started studying math. I'm a little tired, guys. It's just I woke up early, so if I seem a little sleepy, forgive me. I'm gonna be ending this soon, so I'll try to answer what I can. Yes, I started doing magic. Started learning and finding out about magic when I was around Hold on, that was 19. Oh my god, that was a long time ago. I would think it was around 13. No, it was before, but after school, I started going into it. What do you think about chakra removal? Oof, I never thought about that. I never thought about removing any of my chakras. I do think the Dragon Rouge, there's certain dark chakras in us. I've never really learned about them, which I feel that I need to for my own enlightenment and my own growth. So I think I'm there's a lot of things I need to start working on. Ricardo, the thing with the awakening thing is I went through different stages. I started at 13 with the Book of Buckland's Witchcraft. After that, I didn't do magic for a long time. I didn't do anything. Then I wanted to learn voodoo and put a spell on everybody because I was an idiot. And you know how teenagers are. After that, it took me a while. I started really diving into it seriously and personally in my 20s. So I would say that's when I really started to kind of pay attention to it. And also before that, I got even into some new age stuff, which is fine. New age stuff is fine. But I felt that it was a little bit that it wasn't for me in a way that there was too much love and light and not enough shadow work. Um, and there were these rituals that they would do that the group that I was in a long time ago, they would bring everybody in. They would bring we call Horus, we call what's it called, Zeus, we call Archangel Michael. You would have a room full of different entities. And I felt that was really stupid and dangerous. So, and then they will all hug each other and say, I love you, love and light." And I'm like, "Listen, I don't think I belong in this group." So then I left. You know, yes, Jin. There's a shadow side for our chakras, and I did not know this. Actually, the Dragon Rouge. I think I read somewhere that they said that there's a shadow side for chakras. And I was like, okay, you know what? Now this is fascinating. There's also supposedly we have our astral body and then we have our shadow body. Now, imagine looking at a wall and you see the shadow. It has its own body. It goes to places that your astral body can't. But that's something I'm still working on. That's something that I've heard, and that's something that is very new to me. So until I have more experience and more and teach it, then I can't talk anymore about it. Hey, Jack, how you doing? Never hug. Well, you can hug people, but hug people that you want to hug, not somebody that just comes and goes, I love you. Hey, listen, I don't know you, So at least with what's going on in the world, you could say somebody comes up to you and you really don't want to, give them a hug. You could say, "Hey, you know, I'm just being careful." So no hugs, no angels. Yes, I know about Astarte because I worked with her when it comes to Baal Hadat, which is the original god, the original thunder god. So yeah, I worked with her. Usually when I worked with her, she went with me. I mean, she took me to meet Baal. I've noticed that every time I do something, I would do it through some sort of a consort or some sort of person. What do you mean person? I would do it with an entity that I work with, and then I would ask them to actually take me to the spirit that I've never met before. So that's why I keep saying that a familiar is a good idea. It's like at times it looks like. Well, the shadow self is important, Cubase. I love working with it. I do notice that it does tend to grab you and pull you in. When I'm working with the Goetia a lot and I'm working with the clip off a lot, it pulls me in. And then I understand that I have to somehow rebalance myself because sometimes I feel that I go too deep into it. Then I have to bring in a little bit of the Sephiroth, dust stuff off, rebalance myself. Same thing if you're going the other way. If you're working all the way with the Sephiroth all the freaking time. Like I had arguments with not arguments, discussions of some magicians that I was in a group and I wanted to do the clip off. I just wanted to do the clip offs. It was a Thelemic group in New York. And you can't do that. What's the point of doing that? You're not going to learn anything. Everything's dead over there. I decided that it was time that this is not for me either. And so then I moved on. The whole point is that you have to do what you feel is right for you, your path. I'm just here to show you a pathway of what you can take, and then you're on your own. Yeah, Ricardo, I've noticed you have to be Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, whatever. Yeah, that's a lot. So everybody, if you want to support me, go to and follow my Twitter, follow my Instagram, TikTok. I don't know. Twitch is a little bit, I don't know what the heck I could do with Twitch. I mean, I don't think I could put YouTube videos on Twitch. So just follow me on the. I'm trying to grow my TikTok and Twitter. So if you guys want to follow me there, I'll appreciate it. Cubase, I think what makes the shadow self so powerful is because of all the stuff that we do, all the secrets that we do, all the things that we hide. I think it all builds up in the shadow self. I think that's why it makes it so powerful. You can do magic to attract a romantic partner. I don't see anything wrong with that. If you actually do a spell that I want to find the right person for me, or I want to find a person that works energetically works with me. I don't see, as long as you don't target anybody. I mean, I do feel when a magician targets somebody. See, this is the interesting thing. I feel that changing somebody's mind to say, you're going to do this with not their permission is an act of force, which I don't fully agree on. But if you've been wronged and if somebody promised you something, to me, promise is very important. And if you've promised something, I don't see anything wrong with doing something against that. But I do suggest reading the tarot cards to make sure that nothing bites you in the butt. How do you go about it? Well, the thing I will tell you that off the top of my head, unfortunately, I don't have a spell for that at the moment. But if something comes to me, I will be sure to post it. I mean, I don't see anything wrong with even asking because the way I usually do magic is I go one on one with the spirits. So let's say you would contact. I'm just pulling this out of my head right now. You would contact the spirit that would have to do with romantic involvement, and you would ask, once of course you know the spirit and then you have some sort of relationship with that spirit, you would ask, you can you help me attract the partner that is right for me, something in that context. Well, thank you, Cubase. I mean, I already have a TikTok. I'm the only spektorbaal over there. Ricardo, if I promote on Twitch, what would I do? Would I do my live streams there instead and just do the YouTubes there? I mean, I'm trying because it's all live stream, isn't it? Since I already do live streams here. I mean, right now at TikTok, I have, I think, 95 followers. Do I believe in twin flames? Maybe. But I don't know enough to tell you. Maybe. Because I do believe that once we reincarnate, I think it's possible that part of us goes one way and a part of us goes another way. I think parts of us shatter. I don't think it's just you're dead and then you move on. I think there's something goes on. Do the shadow self causes ADHD? That's a very, very good question. I mean, I have ADHD, and I said that before. Magic helps me focus. It's all about focus with me. Um, can it cause it? Hold on, guys. I have to think about this for a second. I don't know if it could really cause it. I think it's a biological thing. I think a lot of stuff that we can't change DNA with magic. In the video, I did post that we can't change everything with magic. There's a lot of things we can't do. We have to problem solve here. You know, I don't want to say reality. That's the wrong word, but you guys know what I mean. I don't think there's some spiritual things that sometimes cause mental difficulties. That's probably the best word to use, mental difficulties. Because ADHD could be a pain in the butt, I'll tell you that. Well, Cubase, I could believe maybe we were all born from ADHD. I have no idea. But yeah, back then they didn't call it that. They just called the kids stupid. That's it. Well, Ricardo, that's a good idea. But I tried the gaming. It's like I would talk about gaming. I would maybe see one or two people. I would play for like 3 hours EverQuest. You know, some old retro games, and that's it. I mean, I did read that if you're playing some other games, it's not going to be really that. You know, if you play popular games and you're a small channel, you're kind of like, eh. Do you know your MBT personality type? Matt, I have no idea. I don't even know what that even stands for. But the thing, Ricardo, is I'm also a musician. So it's not like I'm a gamer. I'm a musician and an occultist, you know. I mean, what can I do with music on that channel? I don't even think there's any occultists on Twitch, or is there? Oh, EverQuest is a game. Elf Quest, I don't know what that is. Oh, Jingarian personality types. Oh, Ricardo, I know what you mean. I did not read too much of him. I need to read more. Oh, okay. Well, are there occult games? Well, there's horror games. I mean, one of my favorite games is Dark Souls. I mean, is that really an occult game? I mean, it's medieval. Um, what's an occult game? It was a VR occult game that I was playing. Something body parts? No, I don't remember. Um, anyway, if it comes to my mind, there was an occult game Clive Barker released somewhere in the 90s. Well, great. Now you see, now I'm like trying to figure out what it was. Plenty of occult games which have a soft occult themes. Well, soft occult themes I could see. If you moved. Yeah, yeah, exactly. You meet demons and angels, shoot them down. It was a Clive Barker game from the 90s. Also a game called Phantasmagoria. No, Gary, I don't think that they're gray aliens. I actually think those gray aliens might be. Man, I'm a little sleepy, so excuse the way I look. Um, I feel that they could be entities in the astral world. I think maybe, or they could really be. Do I believe in aliens? Well, I don't think we're the only ones in existence. That's just stupid. um, says Gabriel, I'm not sure if you're familiar. Thank you so much. I didn't think of that. So I could do the same thing with just talking, but wait a minute. But I mean, I'm going to be running around. I mean, my phone really isn't that good. I have an old phone. Well, I can't get a new phone right now, but I mean, if I wanted to stream, I could do this. I could do the stuff on the beach. That would be interesting in the streaming. So I would be interesting. I never thought of that because it would be just talking, wouldn't it? I'll look into that because I don't really feel that gaming would be my thing over there. It's either talking about magic or music, or I would what would I do? Write a whole maybe put on the Twitch of me writing my whole new album? I don't know. Oh, Ricardo, we all went through that. When I was awakening, I was buying everything under the sun. I was doing the ADHD impulsiveness, is what I call it. I thought about them being egregores. Matt, reptilians could be. Who says that reptilians might not be real? But I will say, um, there's some conspiracies that I think are a little bit out of there. Okay, everybody has a right to, to think the way they want to think, but some conspiracies to me are just way out there. But who am I to say? They probably look at me and say, "Hey, look at this guy. He contacts demons. He runs a YouTube channel. This guy's a nut." You know what I mean? We're all nuts a little bit. As long as nobody's violently nuts, like that has violence, everything's fine. Music, myth, and magic. I like that. No, Ricardo, I like gaming. It's just I get it. I get in spurts of gaming. Like I would game for a month, then I wouldn't game. I would game for a week, I wouldn't game. That's why there won't be any consistency for it. You know, writing music, being a musician, singing. I mean, I have this YouTube channel, and then I have Analog Voice. If you guys type in Analog Voice, I'm a vocal coach. I teach people how to sing. If you ever want to learn how to sing, I could, teach you how to sing. So I'm a professional vocal coach. So that's my other. That's what else I do. I do think we have reptilian. Yeah, the reptilian part of our brain. Well, unfortunately, I don't have time to stream for 10 hours. I mean, I work. Um, I can't go full time on YouTube, not yet. So I mean, I work teaching vocals and I don't have time to do 10-hour streams, guys. That's crazy. I mean, it is if you could talk for 10 hours. But as all you people know, if you have a job, it's kind of hard to do 10 hours. I mean, with YouTube, if it eventually come to that I could do it full time, I could do that. But I can't do that now. That's a good idea, which I probably do because I'm trying to write new music anyway in this situation I'm in. Then I could play it live. But I rather 9 hours is a little easier. Um, but I rather play it to you guys. You understand? I mean, I rather play it with the audiences. If I go over there and play it, I don't know. I got to look into Twitch. I don't know. I feel closer to YouTube than I do Twitch. Well, yeah, Jack. I have a song called Dark Moon that I wrote for Lilith. I've never released it. I probably need to rewrite it and like update it, but there's a song called Dark Moon that I wrote for Lilith. No, Ricardo, that's actually kind of a good idea. Do the YouTube and just say go to Twitch to do that. But you could have the talking and the what's the freaking thing called? The talking and then oh my god, my brain just went dead. The talking and the music. That's what I wanted to say. Well, Jack, that's a good idea. Um, No, no, no. There's StreamYard. I think with StreamYard you could stream to all places. You know, I mean, there's a great channel that I watch on Twitch called Static Realms. Great friends of mine, and they play my music and my music videos, and they have all their great artists. And they stream through StreamYard, and they post on YouTube and on Twitch, but most of their audience is on Twitch. But you guys should check them out if you like retro '80s stuff and all this stuff. Static Realms is a really awesome channel. I give it a thumbs up. And not because they played my stuff. Jack, I love heavy metal. If you go to Analog Voice, where I teach singing on my YouTube, I'm singing Rat, I'm singing Judas Priest, I'm singing Ozzy Osbourne. Yes, I love heavy metal a lot. Matt, yes, I am vaccinated. Static Realms. REAL. Wait, like realms. Hold on. Hey, welcome to Analog Voice and welcome to my YouTube. I also posted a link to my other YouTube channel, Analog Voice, if any of you are interested in learning how to sing, but don't look at the reaction videos. Look at the tutorial videos, and I'm giving how to get from head voice to chest voice as any of you want to learn how to sing. And that's a passion of mine. I love teaching singing. So, since music, and I know how to do it really well. And I think anybody could learn how to sing. But of course, that has nothing to do with the occult. That's just another passion of mine. And yes, you could have more passions than just the occult. Just the reaction videos was just more of trying to, you know, see how they're singing and then explain the technique of how they're singing. It's very different than the occult, Jin. But that's what I do. That's my job. I teach voice. I'm a singing coach. And most of it's online anyway. But it makes sense, singing, music, occult, that's all. Art is art. Well, it's not usually. Can I give a demo? What do you mean by a demo? Well, usually in the I'll just give you an example. What happens? Usually, the lessons are $50 for the hour. The lessons get recorded. I teach technique, not style. which means you could get from your lower range all the way up to your higher range without hurting yourself. You will learn your instrument correctly, and you could safely sing without hurting your voice. And there is a money back guarantee if you're not 100% satisfied with the lesson for your first lesson. So that's what goes on with the lesson. Ricardo, it's not my only job. The voice is the passion that I do, that I love teaching. I might start, teaching magic too. We'll see with that. I don't know how that's gonna go. Um, I also work at I'm not. I also work at a part-time job at a health store, and that I despise. That is annoying. Yes, I have come across dragons in the occult, especially in the clip off. In the clip off, there's dragons in the clip off. I've seen them. I have not seen any dragons in the Sifra. So, Ricardo, everybody has a job they might not like. It's only temporary. Look at it temporary. What happened is that I had students, but then that hit. So I lost some. So I had to find some part-time work. I mean, I'm in New York. Usually everybody in New York usually has like freaking 3 or 4 jobs because it's so expensive here. Ricardo, that would be wonderful. If I could go YouTube full time and that will be my job. I would still teach voice because I really do love that. But that would be amazing. That I think that would be some sort of a dream, yes. But I do love doing this not because of any financial gain. I enjoy talking to you, friends, and discussing things like this. I like to put out my music. I like to perform. I like to do art. And also, magic is a form of art and drama. How did I get here? Well, my parents are originally from Riga, Latvia. They came in the 70s, and I ended up in New York. Then my parents split. I went to Los Angeles, lived there. Then, for a while, lived in Europe for 5 years, and then came back to New York. There's the whole story in 1 second. Jack, is there a really good community of when it comes to community, it depends on, are you with that community? And what I mean is that, do you guys vibe? Now, there's Thelemites here, but it's not really a lot. There's a lot of people who study witchcraft. Usually once a year, there's a fair that happens in New York, twice a year, that all the witches and occultists come, and they just sell stuff, candles, incense, some occult band plays, and for the whole day they close the street. I mean, it's New York, so that's a good thing. You don't have people standing there, with pitchforks. No, I have not worked with Amalok. Well, Jack, not everybody's gonna know about that. And you know what? Just, I learned to let it go. They have their path. I know that sounds, repetitive. And we have our path. You know, LA, everything's freaking love and light from what I've read. Have I met the source? Well, that depends. Matt, I don't think anybody really truly met their source. Nobody really truly came back from dying. I think when we die, we will meet what's going to go on. The thing is, when we meet these gods and energies, they talk to us. But when we die, we're really not going to know. I mean, we might meet them or we might not. That doesn't matter. What matters is the results that we get here, how we live our life, and what we're supposed to do. And, finish this lifetime and then move on to the next and grow more and accept that it probably is not going to end, that it's going to be a cycle of death and life and death and life and death and life. Now, these are my thoughts now. If you ask me 5 years from now, I don't know what I'll tell you. Jack, you're saying it's good that one of few that preaches their own path. Now, I want to ask you, is there others who, I don't like to be called a preacher, but anyway, others who do magic and other type of spiritual workings, they don't say their own path, do they? What do they say? That you follow my path, their path? I mean, honestly, I really don't watch any other YouTubers when it comes to magic. Um, I watch some vocal teachers, I mean, but that's something different. But when it comes to magic, I really don't. I don't watch Quetting. Um, I do watch Cult of You, which is a brother that I know. Um, yeah, I really don't watch any other ones. Well, Jack, the thing is that we as human beings, there's a thing. When people push us as humans, what do we all do? We rebel. We get angry. Don't force me into doing this. I mean, it's the same thing with the vaccination thing. We're in New York. There's a lot of people that are vaccinated, okay? But there are those that don't want to do it and they feel like they're being pushed. Um, So I would like everybody to be who can be vaccinated. Why? Because I want this thing to end. Unfortunately, it's going to keep mutating, and from what Pazuzu tells me, it's going to be another 3 years of this stuff. So, you know, hopefully, I interpreted it wrong. I know Baal Codman. I heard of him. I read one of his books about Baal, actually. Very small. I think he was saying that some three Goetic entities he believed was the same entity from another god that was demonized. I don't know. That was his interpretation. Don't know enough to give you my interpretation. No, I don't know him. I never met him. I don't know anything about him. I know he lives in New York. That's all. Jack, you're absolutely right. Light and shadow are two sides of the same coin. Look, when we were created as humans, we were created with both. We were created with gray. And, well, I'm wearing gray, but anyway, they don't see that, and that's okay. I've learned to let go of a lot of things that I thought that people should know about. And there's no reason to fight it. They're going to learn on their own. I know that's it's very passive, but I'm not going to, waste my nerves on that. Ricardo, that's a good idea. I should say what Pazuzu had told me. I mean, he says another 3 years of this stuff, and I think it might happen because I mean, look at all the mutations. Look, we have another one, then we have that one, and then this state, this country. Well, Matt, I to a point, I agree with you, but to another point, it's tough. It's tough. I understand by, letting the strong survive too, but what worried me more about it was the long haul. Because as a singer, my friend was telling me about another singer. I think his name was Demon Boy or something. That's just a stage name. He got COVID to the point that he got long haul, so he couldn't finish a song. He sang a song and then he just lay down. And at one point, he was walking his animal or dog, and then he fell into the snow, supposedly, because he ran out of air. I don't know. That's what she told me. So that worries me, and that's one of the main reasons why I got the vaccine because it's not supposed to stop it. It's supposed to help you not get sicker. Root Witch, I will look into it a little more. I had just never really read, I only read one book of his. Oh, Ricardo, I'm glad you're here with us. Um, no, it hits people differently. It really does. And that's what's scary about it. You don't know how your body's going to react. You might like, yeah, I don't feel nothing. Then another one, oh my God, I'm dying. I went to the hospital. There was one YouTuber, I don't know if you guys read, 1 million subscribers. Didn't get vaccinated, died, and he was 36. Sad, very sad. He wrote on his discussion page on his YouTube is that everybody get vaccinated. Something something that I'm dying. He died, 36. He wasn't sick with anything, supposedly. So I'm just saying, you never know. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. But unfortunately, I'm going to end this stream because I'm getting a bit tired. I wanted to go for an hour, but I really enjoyed talking to you guys, and it's getting late here. Yeah, thank you, Matt. Peace to you too. Or let's just do the horns. Thank you, Ricardo. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for the super chat donation. I appreciate it. Really, I do. Good night, Root, which, and thank you for your questions. Well, that's what's important. You had fun. We all had fun. Fun is good. See everyone.